What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell, guys. Ye asked for ABC. Ye got ABC. Welcome. Basically, you guys have known about this deck for a very long time. I think it's been out approximately about 6 years now, 7 years now. Calvin Tahan hasn't really played the deck in a while. I don't even know if he plays the game anymore. That was the last time we really heard about this deck at a high level, but the deck has definitely made a huge comeback. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. First one, to get into some of the ratios and why you do play 2 versus 3 versus some of the old stuff. The deck has definitely sped up a lot, and that's why I think that you are correct in playing 2 of each piece, basically because the field spells facilitate getting it into your hand, as well as some of the adventure stuff having to be fit into the deck, as well as the Therion stuff is definitely why I feel like 2 is correct. 2 Assault Core, 2 Buster Drake, 2 Crush Wyvern. Again, Assault Core, a target, light monster, union monster. You guys all know about this stuff, but you can add a union monster from your graveyard to your hand in case you don't remember from the deck, and then of course Crush Wyvern specials from the hand. Ash Blossoms, obviously, because I just feel like you generically need something good, and the generically good card is always going to be Ash Blossom. If I'm giving somebody a basic build, if you're going into an event, you may want to specifically try stuff out that may help you a little bit better. Maybe Talents is a good card for you, Droplets, etc., etc. Moving on through the deck, though, the Magician Souls package, just because being able to turn spells that are sitting face up on your side of the field into cards, whether it be Draco back, whether it be a field spell just sitting there, and then being able to facilitate even more, or use a card that you may just not need in some sort of fashion. Any of these cards, sometimes that just happens, sometimes extra terraforming or something like that after a set rotation. You get what I mean. The bottom line is being able to draw a few extra cards that can maybe help you have more of a setup or more of a follow-up the next turn is definitely really good. Therion King Regulus is why we're really doing this video. Regulus is a very, very powerful card that equips Therion monsters or machine monsters from the grave to then be able to negate stuff, bounce stuff on and off the field. You get what I mean. It negates stuff and blows your opponent out of the water, and it's really, really fluid inside of decks that play machines. Sky Striker is another deck as well. Let me know if you want to see a video on that. Smash that like button. Moving on, Union Driver is at 1. I feel like you could play 2 and it would have a really, really good point. And as well, as we talk about this adventure stuff, when we do get to all this stuff, you guys know the engine, but of course if you don't, this can grab this can be special out into the engine. Obviously you get the Fateful Adventure. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the engine now, but what you may not know is Illegal Knight is one of the new cards that came out of Difo, which basically is a go second card, very similar to Griffin, and I'll go over it really quick. It says during the main phase, if you control no monsters or control an adventure token, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you control an adventure token, quick effect, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, give control of this card to your opponent, and if you do, return that card or those cards to their hand. Very powerful card that is a huge plus when going second. Of course, if you can mix it in any kind of way inside of any of these combos, you know, that kind of gets convoluted and it would be hard for me to be specific, but being able to bounce 2 cards is really, really good. You're giving them control of a 2000 monster that's not really going to do anything back to you. It's pretty good. I'll just say that. Getting back into the deck profile, though, the adventure stuff just speaks for itself. Set rotation is absolutely necessary in a deck like this with this many field spells. Therion Coliseum literally adds Regulus to your hand. That's why you have to play that. Of course, you know about reactivation, being able to protect one of your monsters on the field by equipping one of the unions that may be able to help it be unaffected by whatever your opponent's trying to affect you with. And then obviously in and off with double imperm. A lot of this stuff down in the side is just options. I would clearly have a side deck revolving around whatever the meta is, whatever your local meta is. I would definitely say shape it towards that. I wanted to talk about Tsukiyomi really, really quick. It was a very, very good card for a long time. I just don't know if it's quite good enough when you need stuff like Girgin X in the extra deck, Dweller in the extra deck. Tornado Dragon is probably the one that I would think about moving this in and this out. And many more things. I feel like a lot of these combos, just getting to Girgin X essentially helps you to facilitate extending more into the combos in case you don't actually open the field spell, or you just can't quite get there and get all the pieces into the graveyard. And then pretty much the rest of the extra deck speaks for itself. Most of the time your inboard is going to be Platinum Gadget, is IP Masquerena, as you'll see in a second, because you can basically have a never-ending Appaloosa because, of course, you have the pieces. Now let's get into the combos. Of course, starting off with Union Hanger. Of course, if you don't remember any of the combos, you activate Union Hanger, thus grabbing B Buster Drake. Always grab Buster Drake. If you don't have it, go grab it. Then, of course, normal summoning the Hanger with trigger. Discard Union Driver. A lot of people may have not played this deck in a very long time. Union Driver definitely carries this deck a little bit more into the being able to be played. Otherwise, I feel like the deck would just be a little bit more power creeped than we'd give it credit for. And it's pretty much an additional copy of any piece, which is really, really important as well. Assault Core, then special summoning itself off of being a Union monster. And then from there, it's pretty much the same linear combo each and every time. You're adding off of the Buster Drake, and then Platinum Gadget, of course, is on the field. I did want to note in the next combo, if you do have these two together, you'll see what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can chain block that and then play around a Veiler or an Imperm, but then you would lose to a Nibiru. Hopefully that'll make sense in a second. From there, you're then specialing out from Platinum Gadget the Sea Crush Wyvern, and then from there you're just getting Buster onto the field. So off of Union Hanger by itself, that's what you get. Moving on to the second combo, then you're using Union Hanger and the Regulus that you're tuning into the video for. Here, guys, I feel like it's really super duper important to understand any machine monster can equip to this guy. That's a summoning condition, which means him equipping one of the ABC pieces definitely means you're going to get another additional card into your hand. Most of the time you're going to equip Buster Drake, as you'll see in a second. Again, starting off the same combo, you're equipping Buster Drake with another Union Driver, then going into another card. This time I just show Crush Wyvern to show that it doesn't matter. Then linking in the Platinum Gadget, again, that same linear combo. I did want to note here, this is what I was talking about. If you had another piece, then you could chain to them, and then you would obviously have an ability to play around a Veiler and Imperm if that's what you read. And since a lot of people will not be playing Nibiru right now because just a few of the decks and some of the decks coming out just won't care about Nibiru. Nibiru may fall out of favor. It may just be in people's side deck, who knows? But if you do want to play around Nibiru, then don't do that, and you just continue on the same kind of way. From there, Regulus gets out on the field, and then from there, you're protected anyway. From there, you get to re-equip the B Buster Drake. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. And then from there, you special summon out off Platinum Gadget, thus linking in the IP Masquerena, and then fusioning into the Dragon Buster. Obviously, when they tag out, this becomes even more pieces, as you guys already know. And then don't forget your card. Don't ever forget your card. Moving on to the next combo, again, I'm just showing Rite of Aramesia and the Adventure Engine. If you've never seen it before, adding the Buster Drake, the same linear combo. This time you're just adding the adventure stuff to it, normal summoning Buster Drake and equipping, and then setting all the same type of stuff up. Make sure that you know that both the field spell and Faithful Adventure can chain together, 1 and 2. Thus, don't forget as well that Wandering Griffin Rider needs to come out on the field as quickly as you can get it out. And then from there, you pretty much have the same type of setup. Now, I wanted to show this time, when you do get to use the Buster, when you do get to discard whatever card is going to be in your hand, the Ash Blossoms are just generic cards. Obviously, you have Union Hanger on your opponent's turn, which is going to get you an additional card when you link off. And then from here, having, as I said before, a never-ending Appaloosa. A really big Appaloosa is just really, really good. And you're going to get some more effects to back that up when the Appaloosa is summoned, and you're going to be able to block it with the Appaloosa and then get all these. So you can see where the card economy and the card advantage gets a little bit silly, because essentially at the end of your opponent's turn, you're probably going to have 6 or 7 cards in your hand again. And when ABC has that kind of advantage, it's usually pretty good, which is why I feel like this deck is probably going to be meta. I just feel that way. Maybe it's just going to boil down to that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just wanted to show the silly ass combo where you get to bounce the field spell of the new stuff back to your hand. Obviously, I'm going to put it on this side. The Discoliseum, I can't get ready for that name. But anyways, guys, essentially from here, you're banishing off the Enchantress of the Temple. getting the Rite of Aramisia, and then from there, it's pretty much the same linear combo. Get to Buster Drake as fast as possible. If you don't learn anything, it's to get to Buster Drake as fast as possible. And don't add 2. Don't cheat like I just tried to. From there, normal summoning out the Buster Drake, and then equipping off the field spell. And obviously, don't forget about your Faithful Adventure stuff. Again, getting the engine, the Draco back into your hand. Eventually, this card's going to get banned. It's just too good to have free advantage like that and a free bounce like that. But the engine isn't that hard to deal with. But from there, again, specialing out the Griffin to then give yourself a negate and then be able to play freely. You just push out the essential same board that you did before, special summoning out, then adding the Platinum Gadget, putting the Platinum Gadget on the field, adding the Assault Core, and continuing on. This time, adding back here on this bounce. I wanted to make sure that was really key. On the Draco back, when you kick it back to your hand and then you get it back in your hand, you're unlocked from the set rotation stuff. You activate the Therion, the Coliseum, get the Regalex in your hand, and you just keep flowing from there. So really obvious stuff. Again, this is why this works so well together, is when you do equip, you get to unequip because it's a union monster that gets to activate its effect. And then you pretty much have the same setup, and an even more powerful setup with a negate, another negate, and then a whole lot more negates behind that. So there's layered interruptions. To be able to compete right now, there's not so much setting up a huge board. The only thing that is dominant on the board in people's decks right now is probably Drytron being played as a rogue deck, but this is a really oppressive opening board. Now obviously Dark Ruler is still Dark Ruler, and a lot of that stuff is still going to be really strong, but the card economy behind that is really key. And then obviously showing any kind of normal kind of hands, you know, it's just the same kind of thing, guys. Loading up the same kind of combos. Guys, let me know what you think about this deck down in the comments. Do you think it's going to be tier 1? Do you think it's meta? Let me know, and I'll see you next time. Pegasus out. Arrivederci.